This video is step-by-step instructions for creating an auto-graded assignment using input-output in Steppic.org. So let's get to it. So first step is to go to Steppic.org. We log in. I like to authenticate with Google. And we're in. In another video, I showed how to create a course and a class in Steppic. So if you haven't done that already, check that out. Okay, and here what we do is, the way Steppic is set up is we create, we have a course in our class. And so now we want to add an assignment to that. We need to edit the course syllabus to be able to do that. And so we want to create a new module, and we could name it something like Python Intro. We could set the module open date and other things. And so let's save this. Okay. And now let's create a new lesson. And so let's create a lesson and call it input output. And let's do create lesson. Okay, great. Now that we have that, let's click on edit. And now it will have some introductory text here. And Steppic has a lot of functionality to provide more instruction and surrounding your assignments. So let's just leave that here, and introduction to the topic could go here, and we could do a lot more with that. Now let's add another step to this. We have lots of options, but for an auto-graded assignment, we need the code challenge. And so now this is step 2. We have the code challenge here, and what we're going to say is we want to do something similar to what they have here as their default, but write a Python script that requests 2 numbers from the user and displays their sum. And so here we scroll down and we have test cases. And so let's say the input is going to be 3 and 7 is what it's going to input. And then for the output, we want to require the students to have prompts, and so we'll say please enter a number, please enter another number, and then the sum is 10. So they need to match this text. And notice this is just input, so it won't have it's just output, so it won't have the input of 3 new line here and 7 new line here. And the first test case will be shown to the students as an example, and I love that, how it's taking care of that for us. So let's provide another test case. And so very similar, except this is going to be 24, just to make sure that they're doing it. And they haven't hard-coded that, at least. Now, if we're just teaching Python, then we can restrict it to say, hey, this must use Python 3 instead of dozens of languages. So if you have a course that is language specific, you would want to set that. Now we want to click on Save Changes. And then now at the top of the window here, let's click on step 2 to make sure this all worked correctly. And it says, hey, there's a problem. That's because we just made it. And so this is very much how it's going to look for the students. And so here's the introduction. It has the sample input and the sample output right there. And then there's space for them to write their code. And so here the time limit is the time limit to execute it. And so don't worry that that's not for the students to execute everything. And so we could just, then a student would come in, and it's good practice to try it out, and we can run the code, make sure it runs. And so it says here's the test input, it reveals the first one, and here's the result. This looks good, so let's submit it. It says hey, good, and then it has some formatting suggestions, but we're good to go. And so we verified that it works. And so that's how you set up an auto-graded input-output assignment in Steppic.org. Check out my other video about creating one using pseudo unit testing in Steppic.